Your soulmate is about to reveal a secret that will change everything. Before another thought pulls your attention away, remain here for a moment, because something has already begun to move beneath the surface of your life, something so quiet that almost no one would notice it unless they were paying attention to the smallest shifts in energy, and yet this silent movement has everything to do with you. There is a reason these words have found you today instead of yesterday, and there is a reason you felt the urge to stop instead of scrolling away. Not every moment carries a hidden message, but some moments arrive carrying the weight of an entire future, and this is one of them. Your soulmate has reached a place within themselves that they never believed they would reach. For a long time they convinced themselves that silence was easier than honesty, that protecting their heart meant hiding what they truly felt, and that keeping one particular secret buried would somehow prevent everything from changing. But secrets have a strange nature. They never disappear. They simply wait. They wait until the heart becomes too heavy to carry them any longer. They wait until circumstances quietly align. They wait until truth becomes stronger than fear. That moment is no longer somewhere in the future. It has already begun. What your soulmate is preparing to reveal is not something that appeared overnight. It has been growing silently through countless ordinary days, through conversations that seemed meaningless, through memories they kept replaying when no one else was watching, through moments where your name entered their thoughts without permission. They tried to dismiss those feelings as coincidence, but every attempt only made them stronger. Every effort to move on somehow led them back toward you. Every distraction eventually faded until only one question remained inside them. Why does everything keep leading me back to this person? They searched for logical explanations because logic always feels safer than emotion. Yet the heart does not always obey logic. Sometimes it follows a path that cannot be explained until much later. That is exactly what has happened here. Without realizing it, your soulmate has been collecting pieces of a truth they never intended to uncover. Each memory became another piece. Each unexpected sign became another piece. Each moment of longing became another piece. Alone those fragments seemed insignificant, but together they formed something impossible to ignore. Imagine standing before a door that has remained closed for years. At first you assume it is locked forever, so eventually you stop trying to open it. But one quiet day you accidentally touch the handle and discover it was never locked at all. It was only waiting for the right moment to be opened. That is the place your soulmate now finds themselves. They have reached the door they avoided for so long, and their hand is already resting upon it. They can feel that once it opens, nothing will ever return to the way it was before. This realization has filled them with equal parts hope and uncertainty because the secret they carry is not only about what they feel. It is about what they finally understand. There is a difference between emotion and understanding. Emotions can change with circumstances, but understanding changes the entire direction of a person's life. Your soulmate has crossed that invisible line without even realizing it. They no longer wonder whether you mattered. They no longer question whether your connection was meaningful. Instead, they have begun asking themselves why they waited so long to accept what their heart already knew. That question has become impossible for them to silence. Every morning it returns. Every evening it remains. Even in ordinary conversations with friends or family, something inside them quietly drifts back toward you. They may smile on the outside while carrying an entirely different conversation within themselves. It is a conversation filled with unfinished words, unspoken feelings, and one truth they can no longer keep hidden. What makes this moment extraordinary is not simply that they are ready to speak. It is that they finally understand the cost of remaining silent. Silence once protected them. Now silence is becoming the very thing they fear the most. There were nights when they almost reached out. Their hands paused over messages never sent. Their thoughts formed sentences they never spoke aloud. They imagined every possible outcome, every possible misunderstanding, every possible rejection. Fear convinced them to wait just one more day. Yet every extra day only deepened the weight they carried inside. The secret became heavier. The longing became stronger. The distance became more difficult to bear. Slowly they realized that avoiding change was creating even greater pain than embracing it ever could. This realization arrived quietly, not through one dramatic event, but through hundreds of tiny moments that slowly reshaped the way they saw everything. They noticed how often life reminded them of you without warning. A familiar song. A certain place. A conversation about destiny. A passing stranger whose laughter carried a familiar warmth. None of these moments seemed extraordinary on their own, yet together they formed a pattern too consistent to dismiss. At first they called it coincidence. Later they called it strange. Eventually they stopped searching for names because some experiences lose their meaning the moment we try to explain them. Instead they simply accepted that your presence had somehow become woven into the rhythm of their everyday life. Acceptance is powerful because it changes what the heart is willing to admit. Once they accepted this truth, another realization quietly emerged behind it. The secret they had been protecting was no longer protecting them. It was preventing them from becoming the person they were meant to be. Every day they remained silent felt like another day spent standing outside the life they truly wanted. Imagine watching the sunrise through a closed window while knowing the door beside you has always been unlocked. Eventually curiosity becomes stronger than hesitation. That is where your soulmate now stands. They are no longer asking whether they should open the door. They are gathering the courage to walk through it. Yet before they do, something remarkable has already begun happening deep within them. They have started replaying every interaction they ever shared with you, not to relive the past, but to understand what they missed. They now recognize kindness they once overlooked. They now see loyalty they once underestimated. They now understand conversations that once seemed ordinary. Time has given those memories a completely different meaning. What once looked small now appears enormous. What once seemed accidental now feels strangely intentional. This shift has transformed the way they see themselves as well. They no longer blame circumstances alone. They have begun recognizing their own fears, their own hesitation, and the invisible walls they spent years building around their heart. Recognizing those walls has been painful, but it has also become the beginning of freedom. Because every wall first exists inside before it ever appears outside. The moment they saw those walls clearly, they also realized they possessed the power to remove them. That discovery frightened them because removing walls means becoming vulnerable, and vulnerability always carries uncertainty. Yet it also carries possibility. Possibility has become stronger than fear. That is why this secret can no longer remain hidden. It is approaching the surface one quiet heartbeat at a time. Even if they tried to bury it again, it would continue finding its way back. Truth has a remarkable patience. It waits without rushing. It whispers without demanding. But eventually its voice becomes impossible to ignore. Your soulmate has reached that exact place. They hear it now in moments of silence. They hear it while making ordinary decisions. They hear it during sleepless nights when distractions finally disappear. Every whisper carries the same quiet message. Stop hiding. Stop pretending. Stop delaying what your heart already knows. And although they have not yet spoken those words aloud, something inside them has already made the decision. The only question remaining is not whether they will reveal the secret. The only question is how soon they will find the courage to let those words finally leave their heart and become part of the world you both share. But what they are preparing to reveal is far deeper than anyone around them could possibly imagine, and the first person who will truly understand its meaning may be you. As this quiet transformation continues, something even more unexpected begins to unfold beneath the surface. Your soulmate is no longer running from the questions that once filled them with uncertainty. Instead, they have started sitting with those questions, allowing every answer to reveal itself one layer at a time. What surprised them most was not how deeply they felt connected to you, but how long they had been ignoring the signs that quietly pointed them back toward you. They remembered moments they once dismissed as ordinary. A conversation that suddenly carried new meaning. A dream that refused to fade after waking. A feeling that appeared without warning whenever your name crossed their mind. None of these experiences demanded attention when they first happened, yet together they created a pattern that became impossible to overlook. Little by little, the hidden frequency surrounding your connection began growing stronger. It was never loud. It never forced itself into their life. Instead, it patiently waited until they were finally ready to notice what had been present all along. Every day brought another realization. Every quiet evening revealed another forgotten memory. Every peaceful moment seemed to whisper the same truth: some connections cannot be explained by logic alone. They are understood only when the heart becomes willing to listen without fear. That willingness has changed everything inside your soulmate. They are beginning to understand that the secret they carry is not simply about feelings left unspoken. It is about recognizing that every attempt to move away from this connection somehow guided them back toward it. They have started asking themselves why certain paths closed while others unexpectedly opened. Why people entered their life only to quietly leave again. Why every lesson seemed to prepare them for a moment they could not yet see. As these thoughts settled within them, another realization emerged with remarkable clarity. Perhaps nothing had gone wrong after all. Perhaps every delay, every unanswered question, every unexpected detour had been leading toward this exact season of understanding. That possibility filled them with both peace and anticipation. Peace because they no longer felt trapped by the past. Anticipation because they sensed something meaningful was drawing closer. Still, they hesitated. Not because they doubted what they felt, but because they wondered whether the right moment had already passed. Fear has a way of asking difficult questions even when hope has already arrived. Yet hope answered softly, reminding them that genuine truths rarely arrive too late. They simply arrive when hearts become ready to receive them. Since that realization, your soulmate has become more attentive than ever before. They notice little details they once overlooked. They pay attention to moments of silence instead of rushing to fill them. They find themselves smiling unexpectedly while remembering something connected to you. These are not dramatic changes that the outside world would recognize, yet inwardly they represent a complete transformation. The walls that once protected them are becoming doors. The doubts that once held them back are slowly becoming confidence. Even the secret itself no longer feels like something meant to remain hidden forever. Instead, it feels like a truth patiently waiting for the right words. Deep within their heart they already know that those words are coming. They may not know exactly when or exactly how, but they sense that the silence cannot last much longer. Every sunrise seems to bring fresh courage. Every sunset leaves behind a little less fear than the day before. Something is shifting so naturally that even they struggle to explain it. It feels as though life itself is gently encouraging them forward, one quiet step at a time. And while this transformation unfolds within them, another invisible change is taking place around your connection. Circumstances that once appeared fixed are beginning to move. Conversations are becoming possible where silence once existed. Opportunities are appearing where there once seemed to be none. The hidden frequency surrounding both of your journeys continues growing stronger, not through dramatic miracles, but through small moments that quietly prepare the way for something greater. Your soulmate senses this change even if they cannot yet describe it. They feel that a chapter is nearing its conclusion while another waits just beyond the horizon. That awareness has awakened a determination they have never experienced before. For the first time in a long while, they are no longer asking what they might lose by speaking honestly. They are beginning to imagine everything they might gain by finally embracing the truth. And as that thought settles deeper within them, the secret they have carried for so long begins moving closer to the surface than ever before. The moment of revelation is no longer a distant possibility. It is becoming an approaching reality, unfolding quietly, patiently, and with a purpose that neither of you fully understands yet. What happens next will depend not on fear, but on the courage to accept what has been quietly waiting beneath the surface all along. The next step in this journey will reveal why this secret has remained hidden for so long, and why its timing may prove to be the most important part of the entire story. The closer your soulmate moves toward the truth, the quieter everything around them begins to feel. It is not because life has suddenly become simple, but because their heart has finally stopped fighting against what it has been trying to say for so long. There is a certain kind of silence that does not create distance. Instead, it creates clarity. That is the silence they have entered now. Within that stillness, memories have begun returning with surprising detail. Moments they once believed had faded forever now appear as if they happened only yesterday. They remember the words that were never fully understood, the glances that seemed ordinary at the time, and the emotions they hurried past because they were afraid of what they might mean. Looking back now, those moments no longer feel random. They feel connected by an invisible thread that has quietly woven itself through every season of their journey. They are beginning to realize that life was never trying to separate them from what truly mattered. It was preparing them to recognize its value. That realization has changed the way they see everything. Regret has slowly transformed into gratitude. Confusion has given way to understanding. Even the questions that once kept them awake at night have started losing their power because the answers are finally appearing without force. They no longer arrive through endless thinking. They arrive through peaceful acceptance. Every day brings another small confirmation that the path ahead is different from the one left behind. Your soulmate has started noticing how often hope quietly replaces fear before they even realize it. They catch themselves imagining conversations they once believed could never happen. They picture a future that feels less uncertain than it did before. These thoughts no longer frighten them because they understand something important. The heart cannot pretend forever. Eventually it begins speaking through every choice a person makes. That is exactly what is happening now. Without announcing it to anyone, your soulmate has already begun making decisions that reflect the truth growing inside them. They are letting go of distractions that once seemed important. They are becoming more honest with themselves than ever before. They are choosing peace over endless uncertainty. None of these changes appear dramatic to the outside world, yet together they reveal a remarkable transformation. It is as though an unseen weight has slowly been lifted from their shoulders. For the first time in a long while, they can imagine moving forward without carrying the burden of silence. Even so, they know that one final step remains. A truth fully understood but never spoken remains incomplete. They sense that the moment to reveal their secret is drawing closer with every passing day. They cannot predict the exact hour, yet they feel its presence the way someone senses the first light before sunrise. It has not fully appeared, but its arrival is undeniable. This awareness fills them with anticipation rather than fear. They have discovered that courage is rarely the absence of uncertainty. Courage is choosing honesty even while uncertainty still exists. That quiet courage has begun taking root within them. As it grows stronger, another unexpected realization gently unfolds. They understand that the secret they have carried was never meant to create distance. It was waiting for the right season to become a bridge. Sometimes timing shapes the meaning of truth just as much as the truth itself. Had they spoken too soon, the message may have been misunderstood. Had they waited forever, it might never have been heard at all. But now something feels different. The season has changed. The atmosphere around their heart has changed. Even the way they see you has changed. They no longer see only memories. They see possibility. They no longer focus on what was lost. They focus on what may still be waiting ahead. This gentle shift has brought an unexpected peace into their spirit, the kind of peace that arrives only after someone stops resisting what they already know deep within. And as that peace settles more deeply each day, the hidden frequency connecting your paths grows stronger than ever before. It continues working quietly beneath ordinary moments, preparing circumstances neither of you can yet fully see. Your soulmate may not realize every detail of what is unfolding, but they feel its direction. Something meaningful is approaching. Something that has required patience, growth, and quiet faith from both sides. They understand now that not every important chapter begins with loud announcements. Some begin with one honest decision, one sincere conversation, and one heart finally choosing to speak instead of remaining silent. The next step is closer than it has ever been, and when it arrives, it will not simply reveal a hidden secret. It will reveal how every unanswered question, every delay, and every unexpected turn quietly prepared both of you for the moment when truth finally finds its voice. What happens next is not marked by a dramatic event or an unexpected interruption. Instead, it begins with something far more powerful, a quiet decision made deep within your soulmate's heart. There comes a moment in every meaningful journey when a person realizes that continuing to hide the truth requires more strength than finally speaking it. That moment has arrived. Your soulmate has started noticing that every attempt to distract themselves only brings them back to the same place. They can fill their days with responsibilities, surround themselves with familiar faces, and convince themselves that everything is moving forward as usual, yet beneath every ordinary moment the same quiet realization continues to rise. It no longer asks for attention. It simply remains, steady and unshaken, waiting patiently until it is acknowledged completely. This realization has become the hidden frequency guiding their every step. It is subtle enough that no one around them fully understands what is changing, yet strong enough that they can no longer ignore it themselves. Every morning feels slightly different than the one before. Every evening closes with a deeper sense of clarity. They have stopped asking whether these feelings are real because reality no longer needs proof when it is experienced from the heart. Instead, they have begun wondering how they will express everything they have kept inside for so long. They replay possible conversations in their mind, not because they fear speaking, but because they hope to find words worthy of what they truly feel. Yet the more they search for perfect words, the more they discover that sincerity matters far more than perfection. A genuine heart does not need flawless sentences. It only needs the courage to be honest. That understanding has quietly transformed them. They are becoming someone who values truth over certainty, openness over protection, and hope over hesitation. This transformation has not happened in a single day. It has unfolded slowly through countless moments of reflection, through peaceful silence, and through an unexpected awareness that every step of their journey has carried hidden meaning. They now understand that some delays were not obstacles but preparation. Some unanswered questions were invitations to grow. Some moments of distance were necessary so both hearts could become ready for what comes next. As this awareness settles deeper within them, another remarkable shift begins to take place. They no longer feel trapped by the past. The memories remain, but they no longer carry the same weight. Instead of creating regret, they create wisdom. Instead of reopening old wounds, they reveal how much both of you have changed. Looking back, they can finally see patterns they once overlooked. They recognize how every unexpected turn gently redirected them toward greater understanding. Even moments they once considered failures now appear as quiet lessons that shape the person they have become. This realization fills them with gratitude instead of disappointment. It reminds them that growth often happens long before we recognize its purpose. And perhaps that has been true for your journey as well. Long before either of you understood what was unfolding, life was quietly arranging moments that would eventually make sense. The hidden frequency never disappeared. It simply continued working beneath the surface, connecting experiences that seemed unrelated until viewed from a different perspective. Your soulmate senses this now more clearly than ever before. They feel that something significant is approaching, not because circumstances suddenly became perfect, but because their heart has finally become ready to receive what it once feared. Readiness changes everything. It allows people to recognize opportunities they once overlooked. It allows conversations to happen naturally instead of being forced. It allows truth to arrive with peace instead of confusion. That is the season your soulmate is entering now. Their secret is no longer something they are protecting. It has become something they are preparing to share. The timing feels closer than ever, and with each passing day their confidence quietly grows. They understand that whatever happens after the truth is spoken, they will finally be living honestly. That realization alone has already begun setting them free. Yet there is one final piece they have not fully understood. They still do not realize that while they have been preparing themselves inwardly, unseen circumstances have also been quietly shifting around them. Doors that once appeared closed are beginning to open in unexpected ways. Paths that once seemed impossible are becoming visible little by little. Nothing is rushing, nothing is forcing itself forward, and yet everything is moving with quiet purpose. The hidden frequency continues guiding each step with remarkable patience, leading both of your journeys toward a meeting point that neither of you could have planned alone. And when that moment finally arrives, it will reveal not only the secret your soulmate has carried for so long, but also why every season of waiting was preparing both hearts for a truth that could only be understood now. What unfolds next will reveal the final piece of this journey, the one that brings every quiet sign, every hidden lesson, and every unanswered question together into a single moment of unmistakable clarity. Now the journey reaches the moment it has been quietly moving toward from the very beginning. Not through noise, not through sudden chaos, but through a calm certainty that has slowly replaced every lingering doubt. Your soulmate finally understands that the greatest secret they carried was never simply a collection of hidden words. The true secret was the transformation taking place within their own heart. For so long they believed they were waiting for the perfect circumstances, the perfect timing, or the perfect sign. Yet they now realized that the greatest sign was the steady change happening inside them all along. Every experience, every unanswered question, every unexpected delay had been gently shaping them into someone capable of choosing honesty instead of fear. Looking back, they no longer see a path filled with mistakes. They see a path filled with preparation. Moments that once seemed meaningless now appear connected with remarkable clarity. Conversations they nearly forgot have taken on new significance. Decisions that once felt confusing now reveal a quiet purpose. Even seasons of silence no longer feel empty because they understand that silence often teaches what constant noise never can. The hidden frequency surrounding this journey was never trying to rush either of you. It was patiently allowing both hearts to grow until they could recognize the value of what had always been present. Your soulmate now carries that understanding with deep gratitude. They know they cannot return to who they were before this awakening. Too much has changed. Too much has been revealed within them. They have discovered that genuine connection is not sustained by perfect circumstances but by courage, sincerity, and the willingness to speak from the heart. That realization has become their greatest source of strength. The fear that once held them back has slowly dissolved, replaced by a peaceful confidence that truth deserves to be shared when the heart is ready. As they prepare to reveal what has remained unspoken for so long, they no longer expect perfection. They simply hope for honesty. They understand that whatever follows will be built upon something real rather than something imagined. That alone makes every step worthwhile. At the same time, your own journey has not been standing still. Whether you recognized it or not, every challenge, every lesson, and every season of waiting has also shaped you in quiet ways. Growth rarely announces itself while it is happening. Only later do we realize how much we have changed. That is why this moment feels different. It is not only your soulmate who has reached a new beginning. Both paths have been moving toward greater understanding, each preparing for a chapter that could never have unfolded before now. The hidden frequency that quietly guided this story has never been about controlling outcomes. It has always been about revealing truth at the right time. Sometimes life asks for patience, not because the answer is absent, but because the heart is still becoming ready to receive it. That readiness has finally arrived. Whatever conversations unfold from this point forward, whatever choices are made, they will come from a place of authenticity instead of uncertainty. And that changes everything. As this chapter closes, one quiet truth remains above all others. The most meaningful secrets are never those that remain hidden forever. They are the ones that transform into honest words at exactly the moment they are needed most. Your soulmate has reached that moment. The journey that began with silence now ends with clarity. The questions that once filled every quiet evening have given way to peaceful understanding. The hidden frequency continues, not as a mystery waiting to be solved, but as a gentle reminder that the deepest connections are often guided by patience, growth, and quiet courage. Carry that reminder with you as you continue your own path. Trust the lessons that have shaped you. Appreciate the seasons that strengthened you. And remember that every meaningful beginning is often prepared by countless unseen moments long before it finally appears. Sometimes the greatest changes arrive so gently that we only recognize them after they have already transformed our lives. This is not the end of the story. It is simply the end of one chapter and the quiet beginning of another, where truth no longer hides, hope no longer hesitates, and both hearts move forward with a deeper understanding than ever before.